welcome our online viewers to this Harvest Home Sunday. And the chancel choir will please give us a song.
First reading today comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verses 25 and 26. It can be found on page 840 of your Pew Bible. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more important than food, and the body more important than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to his life? This is the end of our reading, and our hymn, next hymn is number 97, or up on the screen, For the Fruit of All Creation. Will you please stand?
This particular hymn, the tune, the words are absolutely beautiful and astounding. The tune is not very simple. And so the way we are going to do it, Laura and I'm going to play it through the whole way one time, only the verse of first line of it, melody, thank you. And then we'll just add some accompaniment as the verses go, but pay particular attention to the words, and we are going to play it more slowly than normally I would play a hymn.
can be generous on every occasion, and through us, your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God. And those are our readings for this morning, and now we're going to have a special music by our men's group.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Nice to have our men's group gathering back together to sing a song here this morning, and thanks to the women's group for inviting us to share this with you this morning. We're going to be singing a song that's pretty familiar. It's a song called Give Thanks, and then we're going to sing it through one time. And then for the second time through, we'd love it if all of you could join and sing along with us.
I'd like to introduce you Stephanie Titzel. She's from Mission Central, and she has a program that she's going to speak, and she's going to tell us all about Mission Central.
Thank you, and thank you all for having me today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your generosity beyond today, too, as well. Making kits, supporting Mission Central, and really doing doing all the things that makes our organization great, so thank you very much. I'm going to talk a little bit about Mission Central and give you a little guideline on what's going on in Mission Central present day, a little bit about our history, a lot about our ministries, and then kind of how you can help as well, so thank you. This is our warehouse. It's 48,000 square feet. You can't see it here or see the depth and breadth of it, but it's in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, right outside of the borough, off 114. Our mission is threefold. One, it's mission education. Two, it's mission outreach. And finally, it's disaster recovery as well. So I invite you to come out at some point. I'm happy to give you a tour and show you all the ins and outs, or volunteers. We'd love to see you in that capacity as well. So thank you. Last year in 2020, we assisted 3.3 million people with 10.9 million in resources. It was a record-breaking year for us. It was an incredible year. And we're on track to beat it again this year, which is pretty amazing. This year, we're on track to probably assist about 4 million people with 12 million in resources. And some of that is because needs have increased with the pandemic and we're able to serve more, which is great. The converse side of that, of course, is it's unfortunate to see needs increasing and people struggling even more. Sorry. So the question always comes up, how do we begin? And we started as a mission outreach project at the Susquehanna Conference of the United Methodist Church. Bishop Irons had a brainchild to create a missional warehouse, and he got it approved through the conference. There was going to be this building right here that you see right outside the conference office. The conference office was going to build this 35,000 square foot building that would cost about $4 million, and God intervened with this building. So one day Bishop Irons was on his way to work, the Mulberry Street Bridge was out, and he went a different way to work and came across the building that we are now in. And it was for lease, it wasn't for sale. He inquired about a purchase, and they had said, no, we really want to lease it. It was an old printing facility. They wanted to keep it in that capacity. But after we explained what we were going to do with the building, they agreed to sell it, and they sold a 48,000 square foot building for $2.5 million and gave a 10% tithe back. So it was definitely a huge win for Mission Central. One, we had more space, which we talk about all the time now. That 13,000 extra square footage is utilized, and we could use even more. So that was certainly a win for us. We appreciate God's intervention there. We opened in 2002, so next year we'll celebrate 20 years of service. You can see we started with an empty building. We had a building, but no warehouse knowledge, no warehouse equipment. And we were very fortunate in that we partnered with Bethesda Mission, and you may know them from their homeless shelters in Harrisburg. They do a lot of homeless outreach. They have a women's shelter and a men's shelter, but they also have a food bank, and that food bank has been inside of Mission Central since 2002. So it's been an unbelievable partnership. They had warehouse knowledge, we had a building, and it's been a great relationship ever since. That's our building at Pursuit. There's Bethesda Mission. So then in 2018, Mission Central went on our own. We spun off of the conference, primarily because we've always served people ecumenically, regardless of religious denomination, and it gave us an opportunity for more funding. So in 2018, we formed Mission Central Inc., and then this past August, we began operating as Mission Central Inc. We're still a vital part of the conference. They have their media center in our building. We're still, a quarter of a mile down the road. We still have a great partnership and value the partnership we have with United Methodist Churches. We're thrilled that we are able to support all and serve all as well. That was our first God moment, our building. Our next God moments, we have God moments every day, particularly in our medical ministry. I would say a couple times a week it's bringing a tear to my eye, and hopefully it won't today, but sometimes they sneak out. The first God moment I'm going to share about our suitcase ministry. One day, about 6 years ago, a gentleman came in and said, I have 25 suitcases I'd like to donate. I saw your ad. We said, great. We've never placed an ad, though. We took the suitcases, and they've become a really vital ministry where people come and get them for children that are going from foster care to another, so they're not carrying things around in garbage bags, which is heartbreaking. They go on mission trips, and they stay to serve as dressers and beds, keeping people off the ground, and they go out in mass. So the suitcases you'd see today are not the suitcases you'll see in 2 days. I do a lot of tours. I'm always amazed when they go by the suitcase. I'm like, those weren't here yesterday, and they won't be here tomorrow. I know that. So that's a very vital ministry that came out of really just a God moment. And as I mentioned, our medical always has God moments. This is kind of one of day there's something with medical that really is amazing and is life-changing for people, whether it's getting an electronic wheelchair or a bedside commode or something that increases mobility or something that's necessary and vital. We do supplements and formulas, and the cost of those is about $800 a month, and often you'll get a kind and it won't work. It just isn't compatible with your digestive tract. So we get those and we send them out to people who need them, and that is definitely an incredibly vital ministry. But we had an all-terrain wheelchair that a missionary asked for. She said, do you have any all-terrain wheelchairs? We have never had one, we have never seen it, never even heard of it. Had to Google what an all-terrain wheelchair was. It looks like this on the screen. And she filled up her car with her little Toyota. It was like a Camry, it's a hatchback. That she filled it all up and she didn't have room for some of the things. And 2 days later, we got an all-terrain wheelchair in it. So God knows like that are happening constantly at Mission Central, where we need something and it comes in, and we make a joke like, just put it in the universe and it'll come. So it often does, which is an amazing. All right, next slide, please. The other part of what we do is disaster relief and recovery, and we do that through UMCOR, which you're probably familiar with, the United Methodist Committee on Relief. Sorry. Thank you. These are their trucks. What we do with them are 3 different kits. We do the flood or cleaning buckets, which you probably have seen or heard of. We do school kits and hygiene kits, which I know you are intimately involved with. The school kits go out to students. The hygiene kits are used mainly for homeless and also for disaster recovery. You can see them all up there. And last year was an incredibly epic year for disasters. There was $29 billion in damage in 2020. So we were really fortunate to stand at the ready and be able to provide things. The flood buckets come into us. They're either made at Mission Central by materials that are donated, or they come in as made kits. Then they're verified at Mission Central. So each kit is looked at to make sure that it has the same items as another kit. That started originally because UMCOR needed them for customs, just to make sure the whole entire pallet has the exact same thing on it. And it's really important to us too, particularly the school kits, so that if I get erasers and you get erasers, or we get pencils, they're the same, so it's not another way to marginalize someone. Sometimes it seems frustrating that we're asking for 2 blue pencils or whatever, but there is a reason behind the madness of it all. So last year we gave $410,000 to disaster recovery. This year we're on track. $610,000 has gone out already. The flood buckets come in, they're verified, and then they're wrapped in saran wrap, like you can see up there. They stand at the ready, so when there is a disaster, they go out. And traditionally that's been September. September and October, big disaster relief months. That has been very different this year. They started going out in April and they've continued pretty much throughout the year. We've serviced areas primarily Louisiana, New Jersey, Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, have received a lot of support from us, and I think that will continue in the years to come as we focus on longer-term recovery. Our other Mission Central programs, we have a lot of other very vital programs. You can see, we have 10 Mission Central kits, and we have 3 kits that mirror the UMCOR kits. We have an activity kit like the school kit, we have a care kit that's like the hygiene kit, and those are things that are utilized. They were utilized a lot in the past 2 years just to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. We also have a baby kit, which includes things like layettes and blankets and all the things you need when you've had a baby. We have a birthing kit as well, which goes primarily to third world nations, and that's things like plastic sheeting and gloves and twine and scissors to have healthy delivery. We do a camp kit, which includes pajamas and clothing and bathing suits and a hygiene kit, so that kids who are going to camp have all the things they need to have a successful week at camp, just like their peers. We do a feminine hygiene kit, which goes mainly to third world nations as well, and that's so that students don't miss a week of school when they're menstruating, and that's really critical to those girls and those women and girls in those countries that get them. We also do a lot of things with schools, and our fastest growing ministry is our medical ministry. We did last year about $750,000 in medical equipment and supplies that went out. This year so far, $1.5 million has gone out. And that's great, of course, but it shows the increased needs as insurance costs are being cut. We get items in, we get things like rollators and bedside commodes and wheelchairs. Really, we take everything from a medical perspective, and they go out to those that need them. So folks will call and say, I need this, and it's theirs. They can keep bring it back, have it, give it to someone else, whatever they need to do. There's no cost to the recipient for a medical. There's actually no cost to anything that goes out of Mission Central, which is really, I don't think you'll find a charity that's like that. So that's a great outreach for us as well. If things can be utilized locally, they're used locally. If not, we have a partnership with Project Cure. So some of the things that might be different for this country, like we got human bone fragments in, and here in this country, synthetic bones are used in surgeries. And so they went to India. So with Project Cure, we work with them. They have someone on the ground here and also someone on the ground in the country that will receive it to make sure the medical is placed in the right place. Slide, please. This is one of my favorite slides, sorry. I'll just confirm that. So in our flood kits, we had masks in all of them. So last April and May, when there weren't masks anywhere, the N95 masks, we were able to pull them out of our flood buckets and get them to places that were needed. They went to police stations, they went to fire stations, they went to dental offices, they went to Penn State Harrisburg, they went to Hershey Med Center, they went to UPMC, they went to Carlisle Hospital, you name it, we were getting calls. That was a big effort for us in April and May, getting those N95 masks. And just to clarify the picture in the middle, because I know it's hard to see, there's a dog that has masks. That's the Mechanicsburg Police Department. I just asked for some pictures from everyone who had that mask, and that's what they sent back, which I thought was pretty now. Let's mark their canine. Next slide, please. We also have a partnership with Chewy. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Chewy.com, but they do pet supplies. And they're based in Mechanicsburg as one of their warehouses. They give us all their overage and all their returns. So last year we were able to supply $369,000 worth of pet supplies out to homeless pets. So we partner with organizations that have pets or animals, and they go out to them as well. So that's a great partnership for us too. It was a new one for us last year. Next slide, please. In 2019, we started a school program where we started working with schools and guidance counselors, directors of student activities, and said, I know you have a population that has needs. We probably have it at Mission Central. So from coats to clothing to hygiene items to school supplies, books, you name it, we have really tried to supply it. Last year, it was 13,000 families received over $60,000 in materials. This year, it's double that, and I hope that program continues to grow. That's definitely one of my heart projects. And students in this area, too, we're always happy. We do work with CD, we do work with Lower Dauphin, and we're happy to expand that program, too. Next slide. Finally, international work. Last year, we did 42 international shipments. This year, we're on track for many more. We're fortunate in that things that can't be utilized in this country or wouldn't be utilized in this country, whether it's dated books or furniture or clothing, we're able to outsource that. I gave my son a tour 3 years ago when I first started, and he noted that there weren't any trash cans at Mission Central, and I think about that often. Our goal really is to get things in the hands of people who need it. So clothing and coats go out to areas that are impacted and really need it. So what you no longer need or want can definitely go to great use. Slide, please. I think you're a little familiar with hubs. You have one here, but we have hubs. We have 38 of them. They are from Virginia to Maine. And our hubs serve as mini Mission Centrals. Some of them do all of what Mission Central does, some of them do a part of what Mission Central does, some of them do just furniture, some of them do just disaster relief, some of them do just kits. They're really vital to the outreach. What they do in their community is not included in our numbers, so it's even greater what Mission Central does, but they give a good feel for serving their local community. Our in-house partners, you can see them up here. We have Computer Ministry, New Digs, Project Cure, Bethesda Mission, and Healthy Steps. And I'll talk a little bit about what each of them do briefly. So Bethesda Mission, which I mentioned, was our in-house partner, and they have a food bank. Before COVID, they started doing about 230,000 pounds of food a month out. And with COVID, supply chains really changed, and now they're doing between 500,000 to 1 million pounds of food every month, which is incredibly impressive. They do that at no cost to the recipient. A lot of food banks charge $1.67 a pound. There's no charge there as well, which is a wonderful outreach and a wonderful ministry. They work with 200 food banks and churches to get the food out, and they also have an individualized program where people can pick up food bags for what they need each week. Next, Computer Ministry they service electronics of all kinds. They take everything in to be recycled except for televisions. And so far, since they began, 23,000 laptops and desktops have gone out. A lot of them have gone out in the past year as students have needed more resources as they're doing remote schooling, and nonprofits have gone, everyone's gone remote, so they've been very busy and very fortunate that people are giving things to them as well to rehab. Next, New Digs. New Digs is a ministry that focuses on furniture. They service about 300 families a year with about $3,000 in furniture per family. The way it works is you have to be referred by a case manager, social worker, or pastor, and they look at folks who are down on their luck, victims of domestic violence, starting over, victims of bed bugs, fire, and they sit down and say, what does your space look like? What do you need? Then the people are able to go through and shop through the furniture that we have. They have 2 weeks to come back and get it, and it's really vital. If you think about not having a bed to sleep in, that definitely changes your outlook and your abilities. So it's been a good program. Finally, our diaper bank, Healthy Steps, is in our building. They gave out their 2 millionth diaper in July of this year. And a lot of these nonprofits are able to operate because Mission Central provides low cost or no cost warehouse space to them. And the way we look at it is, if you have a mission that's similar to ours is connecting God's resources with human need, and you're not charging the recipient for the items, you're a great partner for us. We look at organizations that serve ecumenically, that serve all regardless of any condition, and aren't charging recipients. So it's been a great partnership. So the question always is, how does this all happen? And I definitely feel God's hand in everything that we do, but to sum it up, I guess, a little bit better, we have 5 full-time employees, 1 part-time employee, and we are incredibly reliant on volunteers. In any given year, we have 6,000 to 8,000 volunteers that come in. Last year was a little different because of the pandemic. We had 15 faithful volunteers, and we're always looking for new volunteers. So groups who want to come out to us, we would love to have you. If people want to work remotely, we're game for that. There's jobs for everyone at Mission Central. There's jobs for children, which is often higher defined, volunteer positions in that capacity. Jobs for the elderly, jobs for people who are mobile or immobile, and really everything is covered at Mission Central, I feel. So that's part of it. We also get between $7 and $11 million in merchandise that comes into us. So anything that you have that you're no longer utilizing might be a great fit for Mission Central. We take pretty much everything except televisions and prescriptions. So if you have something that's not being utilized by you any longer, it probably could go to somebody who does need it. And part of this is we want to help others. The other part of it is really focusing on creation justice and sustainability and ensuring that God's resources are properly utilized. So those are great gifts that we appreciate. Finally, we have churches and foundations, individuals that donate financially to us, which is incredibly important to us. Our budget's about $560,000, which I think is pretty small for an annual budget for what we do and the work we do in the space that we have, the 48,000 square feet. So that's how we also are sustainable, is through that. And I hope that as you think about Mission Central, you'll consider following us on Facebook, subscribing to our newsletter, and really looking at ways you can help support us, because really with all of us working together, we grow even stronger. So thank you very much. I don't want to open any questions now or later, but happy to entertain them now. Okay, I'm happy to answer questions now.
Yeah, I have more of a comment than a question. So if you do have things that you don't know what to do with, and I know many of you know this, see Carol, my Carol, and she, I think, I don't know, you, like in the last couple of weeks, you went to Mission Central like 4 times.
4 times in a month.
Yeah, taking things over. So instead of worrying about, oh, I can take the Mission Central, you can just bring it here to the annex house, to the back of the annex house, to let Carol know.
And then, thanks for the medical too, because the medical goes out so quickly. We used to have a row of wheelchairs and hospital beds that were overhead, and they are literally, we have a waiting list and things go out immediately. So if there's something you don't need anymore, I know somebody would love to use it.
I volunteer at Wonders Found Thrift Store up on 22, and they give me medical, but they also give it out if people need it, but they get a surplus, and that's why I went that many times. So they give it to me, then I take it to Mission Central. So
thank you. Thank you. We're grateful for that. Yes.
On the computer program, do they go over the computers and strip everything off?
They do. They strip it off, and if they cannot recycle it, they responsibly, if they can't give it to someone else, they responsibly recycle it by drilling a hole in the hard drive. So yeah, they do. I think it's always good though to take your information off yourself, just in case, but They do all of that. If you're looking at donating materially too, we have big cardboard boxes outside, so it's all contactless right now. Literally, you pull up, you drop your stuff, and off you go. So it's not even an involved process. Do you think, Carol?
That's what I do.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Anything else?
And you still take shoes?
We do. We love shoes. Shoes go to a program, a entrepreneurial program. They go to third world nations, and they serve as jobs for others. So usually there's somebody who can repair the shoes, a salesperson, and maybe even a hood owner. So supplies 2 to 3 jobs. And shoes in a lot of nations are real status symbols and something people don't have. So it really does make a difference. You're unused, unwanted, no longer needed shoes. Thank you. Anything else? Thank you all. Thank you. Oh, so sorry.
Well, if you had furniture or something you want to bring down after hours, is there a place to put that? Or
So furniture's collection is Tuesday and Wednesday, and every other Saturday. It's a little harder. It's 9:30 to 11. But if you have something, they also will do a pickup. So it's called New Digs. You can give them a call. They don't check their voicemail. They do check their voicemail. They don't answer it like Google voicemail. So if you leave a message, they may pick up. Maybe willing to pick up. Yeah, I'm sorry.
do you have a mission statement?
We do. Our mission is connecting God's resources with human need. And we do that through mission education, mission outreach, and disaster recovery. Thank you. That's a great question. Well, thank you all. I'll be around after, so if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. We really are grateful for your support, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie. Let us stand and sing our closing hymn, Praise the Lord Almighty.
Father be the light by which you walk. The compassion of the Son be the love by which you walk. And the presence of the Spirit be the power